Obviously it's just we're reaching and stretching for it, but just because we don't get exactly there doesn't mean that we failed. It just means that we need to keep trying.
Right. And it's the reality of having, that's what a model is, right? You put a model out that's a blueprint, and it doesn't mean that that's exactly how things go. It's just a guide for you, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, it looks like what time is it? It is 10:04, you guys. I don't want to waste a moment with this amazing facilitator we have today for our admin mastermind. I'm super excited to be introducing all of you. I'm sure know this woman, Kathy Popovich. She is Director of Business Ops for Team Trimble. And for those who may not know, Team Trimble was pivotal in starting the Lake Country Market Center out here. They've been in business. You're going to hear their background from Kathy. I don't want to steal any of her thunder, but without this group, without the team that you'll be hearing about today, this market center would not be here, and certainly wouldn't look the way it looks today. Number 4 in the MLS, 100 agents, just rocking and rolling. So words of wisdom coming. I'm sure she's going to be facilitating some conversation, because together we all learn from each other. So I'm very excited to be handing this over to Kathy Popovich, Business Ops for Team Trimble, and phenomenal rock star person in general. So thanks, Kathy, for doing this.
Well, I think we should just now turn the whole webinar off. Let's just go home, because I can't live up to any of that.
No, see, it's just true. You just are by being. So you just keep being.
Oh my gosh. So yes, obviously, as we've all been with our team admin and our monthly meetings, or attempts to have our monthly meetings, just learning from each other, learning from other people, sharing insights and best practices. I think out of our Systems Are Sexy session that a lot of us participated in, and then Kathleen led the follow-up where we kind of debriefed on what we learned in that workshop on Systems Are Sexy. I think we all kind of talked about the idea of when we're learning that these workshop formats or templates are really beneficial. So rather than just having someone speaking all the time, it's like, okay, let's really share, because to me, that is the benefit of these kinds of things. We all show up a little bit differently. We bring different strengths to the table. Our teams are a little bit different. They're different sizes, they're different formats. They have different areas of expertise, or where their spheres are, where they're doing their business. So I really just, when Kathleen asked me to kind of lead this, I said, I really would like to make this more of that workshop, and let's riff off of that and see how successful we are in doing this. So hopefully all of you received her, okay, am I supposed to admit people now, Megan? Or are you doing that?
Nope, I got it.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. So hopefully you all got the worksheets that Kathleen had sent in advance of the meeting. If not, I guess if you want to just raise your hand, and I don't know, Megan, or I don't know if either of you have those.
Yeah, we can pop them in the chat for you.
Okay, yeah. They're really just meant to be a guide, and if you don't have them, they kind of follow the same format, so we can kind of brainstorm and workshop on the fly if you don't too. So let's see here now. So I just wanted to say a little bit about our team. As Diana made a very nice introduction of our team, I appreciate that. We've only been in business for 6 years. So we were pivotal in getting the Milwaukee Lake Country Market Center up and running. We started out by having a mega agent office out in Lake Country. There was no market center out there at all. And after we did that, then they opened up the incubator office. And then from there, we were able to open up the market center. I think it was like probably a year and a half later that was able to happen. So Karen, when she joined Keller Williams, she was part of that first handful of agents that were meeting around Maureen's dining room table before even the North Shore was a market center. And Karen was going, on a weekly basis out to North Shore to learn from all of the agents out there and all those really astute agents and who'd been in the business for a long time. But her business was mainly in Lake Country. And so over time, after, she was learning there, loved the learning piece, but just the logistics of always having to go out there became a little bit of a hardship. So that's when really she decided to form a team. So my background, we're sisters, twin sisters, if you don't notice the resemblance between us. So I was in business for close to 30 years when she was she had gotten into real estate, and we were having conversations. I was traveling a lot, missing a lot of things with my family. So that life by design and, living a life of intention really wasn't happening for me at the kind of that apex of my career. And I got to the point and I was like, what is this all for? Why am I doing all of this? And so, her career was kind of going on an upward trajectory, and we decided to join together forces and form a team. So it's been a great experience for us, and we've learned a lot along the way. We've made some, mistakes and had to adjust, as we've gone. We've had some, agents that were a part of our team that then have left our team and gone back to like regular business. But this past year, we've done some reevaluation and are trying to pull on that leverage lever and trying to have success through others in addition to just our core team. So in this past year, we've added Patrick, Nada, and Bethany to our team, as well as a client care coordinator and a part-time assistant. So we've had a lot of growth and change, even in the last 8 months, that we are trying to grapple with and figure out how to best go into 2022. So I just threw some numbers up there just so that you guys could see a little bit about who we are. I don't want to spend any time on that, but we're like most teams, we're started with, a really talented ringmaker who was very successful and have kind of grown along the way. And like I said, we are now where our business was mainly in Lake Country when we got started. All of our agents lived in Lake Country, and that was our area of expertise in our sphere. And it's where Karen really does the bulk of her business, also in Whitefish Bay, a little bit in the North Shore, but the bulk of the business was in the Lake Country. When we've added these 3 new agents, we've actually been expanding our footprint to other areas within Milwaukee. So 3rd Ward, Muskego, Brookfield, and other neighborhoods within Milwaukee County. So that's been something that we are trying to business plan for 2022 as well. Okay, so just to get started, we have just topically several different areas that we decided to kind of identify and to think about and share for all of us, these buckets that we all are operating in, and just kind of walk through them all. So each one that we've got: marketing, meetings, lead distribution, agent business building, accountability, training and development, and expense sharing. And we kind of have the same worksheet format for all of them. So, what is your current system? What's working for you? What's not working? And then any ideas that the group comes up with that we would maybe want to implement in our business. So, and let's see. I'm just trying to see you all. I got to get you all up here because I don't like talking to a blank screen. There we go. Okay, so you know what? I was just trying to see. I mean, I think, is everyone unmuted? I'd love for everyone just to kind of pop around and say who's here, just so that we have an idea of the types of teams that are on the call. And as just kind of a starting point, that would be great.
Well, I can start. My name is Stephanie. I am new, and I work with Klasky Realty team. So I'm doing their admin work right now. We're working on figuring out systems, and then I will be joining, reinstating my license in the next month or so.
Awesome.
I'm Molly Mudd with the Fair Hinton Group, Chicago, Milwaukee. So glad to be here and excited to learn from all of you guys. Everyone's operating at a high level, so I know there's lots to learn.
I'm Chuck Hansen. I'm Deanne's husband, Deanne Hansen, and I'm a new agent also, and starting to get things rolling here. So I'm excited.
I can go. My name is Danny Miracle. I'm a new part-time licensed admin for the A-Key Home Group. So just kind of getting up and running. I'm sorry my camera is not on. We just bought a new house. We're selling our house and we have a 3-month-old baby. So I don't even know when I showered last. And life is chaos. So you're better off not seeing.
Such a realtor story, Danny.
Correct.
The really, reallys.
Without a pre-approval, we saw our house, got it. you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Peggy from the Falk Rubin Gallagher team. There's a couple of us on, I think Sally with marketing and Leah, our closing manager. So we have a couple of different areas represented. I'm the team manager.
Awesome.
Thanks.
I'm Anna. I'm the Director of Operations for the Stale Realty Group. So I handle more of the new listings and the marketing aspect of the business. And then Jamie is also on here. She's my my go-to gal for all things contract to close.
Nice.
I'm Dawn Stanislavski. I work with the Pluster Property Group. I'm part-time. I work with the accepted offer to close. I help with some of the social media. I enter all the listings, do all the MLS stuff. But we are kind of more of a team effort with marketing. Everybody kind of adds a little bit.
Nice.
I'm Bev Drummond. I'm with the J. Schmidt Group. We actually have marketing people that help our team, but we do have programs in place that we help each agent work on their own marketing as well. So we're currently going through helping people that are not comfortable with social media develop social media presence as well. But we do a lot of letters, postcards. We do all of those things that are on your list there.
Okay, is that I think that may have been everyone that's on the call that is an admin. So thanks, Bev, for just kind of teeing that up. So again, I think that my goal for this session together is really to have this to be more of a workshop. I mean, I think when we did that Systems Are Sexy workshop that we were all broken up, but there was lots of people on that call. So there's just a handful of us on this call. So I think it's, keep your mics on and let's make this super interactive. And what we'll try to do is, at the end of the call, similar to what we did on that call, I'll take some notes and maybe we can then put some of the ideas to implement or sharings from, each of the teams. Again, all of us operate a little bit differently. All of us have different, numbers of agents on our team and that kind of thing, but it doesn't mean that we can't have an aha and maybe apply something that someone else is using onto our team, or, even sharing what's not working and maybe someone has an idea about something that they're doing that can be helpful for us. So from a current system perspective under marketing, we have what the team is responsible for. And I'll just kind of go first, at least on this one, that, we've got an overarching branding and promotion system, if you will, where our team, the marketing people, AKA me, and interns that we may have join our team at different points along the way. We do this overarching team awareness and branding. And then we also do the social media ads, postcards for whether that's just listing, just sold, and email campaigns for listings when they hit the market, both to other agents and our sphere, and then kind of a few other types of campaigns that we do, like anniversary campaigns. We also have community events and sponsorships and drop-bys that we, I mean, historically speaking, have done all of that for our teams. And like on the sponsorships, we try to, you know, find things that are kind of near and dear to like either the Rainmaker's heart that everyone else is obviously a part of, or, you know, playing into that individual agent, what's important to them, and finding sponsorships in their, either their area that they're serving, the community that they're living, or something that's personal to them. So I'd love to hear what other people are doing in that regard.
I can go for Falk Rubin Gallagher. So pretty much a lot of the same things, except we do help the agents do their buyer needs and their postcards. We're thinking about switching that. So I was curious to hear how you're managing that with budget. We cover that. We have a certain amount we cover for each agent. So if you're doing that, how are you monitoring that? We also do client gifts, client surprises that we do so much for each agent we cover, and then they can do on their own, you know, closing gifts, you know, Thanksgiving things, Christmas, that kind of thing, fall treats, events, things like that. So all the same things are working. We always have a struggle with response because agents get busy. And so sometimes when we have things that need to go out quickly, it's a lot more follow-up, which is hard for one person to do with that many agents. But that is kind of, we're very similar to you. And I know we've talked before about this, but we're very similar to you all. I was just curious, are you covering the cost for the buyer needs and things like that in postcards? And if so, how are you tracking if they're doing it themselves?
Yeah. Well, that is definitely one of the things that we as a team are trying to get better at in 2022. So because we've added obviously these new agents, now we have these additional markets that we're going to be covering. What we did before, you know, we did cover all of the expenses of everything. From the way that our team agreements are, is that, you know, the team covers the marketing. And as we're onboarding new agents, and, you know, one of our agents was a brand new agent. So she was like 25 years in corporate communications and then became a licensed agent. And then also was serving a completely different market area where we didn't have as much awareness about our team. So we had to do some things to kind of create that awareness of her and position her as the area expert, like, and she's in Muskego. So in Muskego, she's like the area expert. So we had to make some adjustments to even to our logo. So our logo, the way it is right now, is Team Trimble and Keller Williams. It's all, you know, in one logo. And then we had a tagline that says specializing in Lake Country, because that's really what our start was. Even though we did some sales in the Third Ward and in the North Shore, I mean, it didn't seem to bother anyone because Karen was the rainmaker and she had such a wide sphere of influence. It was not a big deal. But for some of these other agents that are either new agents or are in different areas of market, you know, they're concerned about what does specializing in Lake Country mean to their market. So we've had to create a second logo that removes that from the set, so that it just says, you know, Team Trimble and Keller Williams. So we, the same as you, are trying to figure out like, what is that budgetary amount for each of the agents, whether you have a brand new agent, because I think they probably are different. So if you have a brand new agent that you're trying to create awareness of, and to position them as an area and expert, obviously now you're trying to couch them in to the overall brand. So, and I'll just use Nada as an example. So she's a brand new agent. She comes with a lot of business expertise in like crisis communication. So leveraging that, but now also associating her with the team. So then the overall credibility of the team, you know, she can share in that. And so when we position her in her market, it's not just I'm Nada, it's like, I'm not, I've joined Team Trimble, you know, one of the highest producing top volume teams in the area, blah, 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 you know, count on, you know, call me kind of thing. So we've had to make some of those adjustments, and quite honestly, we're still trying to figure out like, what is that number? You know, what is the system for new introductions, because this is relatively new for us, and introducing a new agent to real estate, in addition to like introducing an agent that's joined our team that's been in business for 10 years, but now is joining our team and is in a different market. Then we have another agent that is been in the business for a few years and as an individual agent has had good success. And she's like in the 3rd ward, but also works in Lake Country. So, these are all things that we are grappling with and trying to figure out.
Sally, I can echo your sentiment about how do you get all of the agents who are busy to do the things that you ask of them? And I can say that we also struggle with that. I think a lot of our larger teams do similar like pies for Thanksgiving and magnets for fall football. And we definitely have more success with some agents actually picking them up and dropping them off with their clients and not so much with other agents. So if anybody has any advice on how to get all of your agents to actually participate and do the distribution, I would be happy to hear it.
Yeah, and I will say one of the things, and we're still on marketing, but we could probably, like, everything is so all wrapped together. It's not like, it's hard to just segment them all out. So it's like, what is marketing and what is follow-up, what is budget? I mean, those are all things that all, intersect. But one of the things that we have, and I know we're not talking about team agreements, so we don't want to go down that path because that could be a whole separate subject and probably not appropriate for this group. I mean, that would probably more be at like the Rainmaker level or business ops level. But one of the things that we have incorporated into our team agreements is agent accountability. So, the benefit, we have outlined like what are the benefits of being on the team and the things that we provide to the team. And then we have a separate section that is what is the agent's accountability. And we have things from, well, actually, where's my thing? I'll just read some of it too. I mean, again, does this make it easy to track and monitor? Not so sure about that. But potentially it's something that we could add to like our weekly one-on-one calls. So one of the things that we did before COVID, I mean, COVID, we went off the rails on COVID. I mean, just to be quite honestly, I mean, we were just, probably had some of our best 2 years ever. And, but we're working totally out of balance, just working nonstop, like most of the teams and successful agents out there. So everything that we had in place from team meetings to one-on-ones and huddle calls and all that stuff, we just went off the rails and just barely met. I mean, we met as we needed to, and we were just working in the business and really not working on the business like we probably should have been. But it was just a sheer impact of the way the market was just, we were just at the end of the dogtail and just being wagged around and just trying to survive. But so some of the things that we have on our standards is what we call it is, that they'll, lead generate consistently and persistently to meet the agreed to goals, that they'll follow up on leads shared with you in a timely manner, setting them up on a nurture campaign, consistently following the goal setting and action plans, including tracking progress and sharing with the director of business operations. We talk about regular attendance at weekly Team Trimble huddles, as well as the market center sales meetings, attending at least 3 education sessions a month, including training at the market center, local, regional, and even through KW Connect or national events. And then attending all mandatory meetings. And we have a few other things in there, but we do have in here that if, like, from a lead distribution standpoint, if they are not meeting those standards, that they get pulled out of lead distribution. Now, I say all of that, and we didn't really ever enforce any of that. So, but that is like the gold standard, was that, based on, when they signed their agreements, they agreed to do these things, to be accountable to these things. We agreed to do certain things as a benefit of the team. And so if they're not doing these things, then they're out of lead distribution. And maybe that's out of lead distribution. Maybe it's not getting those marketing elements like the drop-bys, the seasonal gifts, whatever it is. Maybe you take them out of rotation for that, just until they get back up to where they're supposed to be. I mean, because the agreement is meant to be balanced. It's meant to be a collaboration and agreement with each other. It's not like we do all the work and you benefit from it. And, it's like we work together for the benefit of the individual agent and the benefit of the team.
So then do you have similar consequences, I guess is the word, if people are not coming to the mandatory meetings?
Yeah, so if they don't come to the mandatory meetings, then they get pulled out of the lead rotation.
Okay. Perfect.
So I don't know if anyone else is doing anything similar, or if there's other things that you guys have that potentially we could learn from.
We don't have like Emily and Kevin are non-consequential people. Meaning like they don't enforce consequences all the time, but I'm in the background like, they're not doing that. Like we need to like cut it off or, but they're like very forgiving and understanding. But something that we're going to be doing in 2022 that hopefully excites the agents to like take accountability and action, but also puts the lever off of us a little bit and hopefully keeps like accountability and tracking easier, is we have started, and we put it in their updated team agreement for 2022 to give our agents like a lead generation stipend. So what we used to do was an education stipend. So people would like message me and be like, hey, I'm thinking about going to family reunion. How much is my education stipend? And I would let them know, and then we would help them like pay for that. But this lead generation stipend, we are now encouraging them, they can use it for things like family reunion, or they can also use it for, if you've got a really good small pool of like girlfriends who are high referral partners, you can use that money to like take them out, to a nice dinner and thank them for their, continued support of your business. And they would have to run that through me, and I would approve it, and I would help them market that meeting and like make sure it's like, surrounded by real estate and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that that's going to help me with tracking, and then also get them to be like excited about using it, and have them like reach out to their people on a personal level, is our hope and want for that in 2022, because sometimes it just kind of felt like people would, as an afterthought, be like, oh, I've got like $200 left to spend. Like, I guess I'll go to Mega Camp, but it's kind of like, I don't know. We're hoping that a little bit of an increase in budget, and also the flexibility to do a little bit more with like lead generating with that money will kind of be a win-win for everyone.
Are you giving agents the same amount?
I have to look back at all the team agreements. I'm like drafting them right now, but I believe we are giving everyone the same amount, because it's kind of like a new system. However, going forward, I can see us possibly giving more seasoned agents or agents that have been on the team longer, like an increase in that amount based on the amount of years they've been with us. I believe that was kind of the direction we were going, but just to start to see how it's going, we wanted to give everyone the same amount.
I ask because some of the seasonal things that we do, there have been some feedback that some of the more seasoned agents don't necessarily understand why the newer agents get as much as the more seasoned agents. So I was curious if it's more of an equal distribution, or if you kind of weigh out the budget by volume, I guess, or season.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea to do it by volume.
Yeah. So that's been something we're doing, that hopefully with like going into marketing and lead generation and accountability, to encourage them to do those things on their own, but also to like kind of throw out there that we're willing to help financially and with like the planning and marketing and all of that in the back end. So that's something I'll be reporting back on to see how it goes.
Okay. And we do like for ours with the gifts and that kind of thing, we kind of come up with the, the overall so like we do, a Thanksgiving gift. So it's like a gratitude gift for, and what we say is for each one of our agents, they need to pick their VIP. So everyone gets between 25 and 30 people that they can give this VIP gift to, and the team pays for it all. And then it is a drop by. It's not something that is mailed. So there is accountability. So we create it, we fund it, and we package it up for them. And then their responsibility is within that. We don't say on this specific day, but we'll say within, from whatever, the week before Thanksgiving to like that first week in December. And I'm just using the this gratitude gift as an example, that the agents need to drop off these gifts, the gratitude gifts. So, and most of them like that. I mean, they're like, Yahoo, like it's, you know, sometimes it's busy, whatever that time of year is, business planning, and it is a nice time to be able to express their gratitude. And it's not to everyone, it's got to, and they get to pick. We're like, you tell us who your VIP people are. We're not going to tell you, is it a past client? Is it, you know, a high referral partner, whoever it is, you know, it's your business. You tell us who those 25 to 30 people are, and then go and do it. Now we do ask for them to let us know when everything has been delivered. So, and most of them do that. During the rest of the year, we do like drop-bys, and depending on, I'd like to go to like a category of, okay, well, we do, these are your 4 drop-bys that you can choose from, you know, so it could be Cinco de Mayo, it could be May Day, it could be the start of summer, whatever it is. So like once a quarter, we're going to develop maybe 3 different ideas of what a drop-by could be. And then they can let us know which theme they want to pick. So it's kind of like picking from an inventory of offerings that we have, versus just as a marketing person or support people that were just doing whatever. You know, it's like, okay, let's come up with, this is your little menu of things that you can choose from for each of the seasons. You let us know what it is, and then we'll produce it for you. And then you're responsible for delivering it. We always say we never put anything that's alive, like a flower or a plant or like pizza or like food, like, because, you know, agents always have like the best of intentions. And then like, so for example, if we were doing, I don't know, like herbs or seasonings for Thanksgiving dinner is an example, but what if like they don't get them all out in the time frame that they need to get them out, and then they sit dead in the back of the agent's car? Like, I want it to have some life, you know. So if it's like last year we did like a candle made from like a local candle manufacturer. So like a cottage industry, this woman in Heartland that makes candles. So we had a custom label created with, it was like kind of a collaboration between Team Trimble and her. So we were promoting her business, but also Team Trimble. So she created these candles just for us. They were like an evergreen scent. So we were delivering them, you know, between Thanksgiving and that first week in December. And they each had like 25 to deliver. So even if it creeped a little bit into that second week of December, at least it didn't die, you know, and it still had some relevance to it.
Candle smelled really good too.
Yeah. Okay, well, so let's see, I'm just going to pop on here. Oh, I know. So on the marketing, from the agent responsible, just on marketing, then we'll probably just need to move on, because we could probably do this all day long. But so from a social, I'm curious, from social media sharing of both listings and buyer needs, are you guys, like, I think we talked about this at one point, maybe in that last mastermind, that, you know, we push a lot of the stuff out of our team page and then ask the agents either to share on their own page. So things that when we've got, you know, just listed, just sold, open houses, those kind of things, we do ask them to share. We tag the agent. So if it's their listing, we tag them. If it's their sale, you know, we tag them and ask people to call them. But what other things are you guys, I guess, asking the agents to share on their own social media versus that's coming off of your team page? And if so, like, how are you asking them to do that and tracking or prompting?
So for the Pluster group, we do everything through the team page, whether it's new listings, whether it's closings, events, and then we just ask all the agents to share on their own pages as well. We don't have a specific, you know, this type of thing only is on the team page, this type of thing only is on the agent's page. It's just kind of raising awareness through our spheres by sharing everything.
And what about, like, because I mean, the way we are too is like, you know, obviously they always say you want to be the mayor of your community, your area ambassador. So, you know, our agents live in different areas. And so there's things that they know about their communities that makes sense for them. So this is maybe this value added kind of posting that's not necessarily specific to just real estate, so listings and open houses and solds, but like being the area ambassador for their community. So highlighting local businesses or highlighting events that are happening in the area. Do you guys have any kinds of requirements for the individual agents to do those kinds of things? Or are some just better than others? Some have a knack for it. Some are like, no way, I'm never doing that. Or you just let it be? Just curious.
So for our team, the majority is based in Lake Country. We've recently added some people outside of Lake Country. So honestly, that's a great idea to have them promote things that might be more geared towards their community on their page. I'm going to take that back to the team. We haven't really kind of thought that out, I think. So this is helpful.
Okay, well, let's move on, just because we could probably spend the whole life. We probably should have broken this up into like a week of each one of these subject areas, but
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in each of them, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so the next one, we talked a little bit about this, but from meetings perspective, I shared a little bit about what we like to have happen. I mean, COVID, like I said, did send us off the rails, and we've kind of are looking to re-implement some of this structure back into 2022. So the whole concept of, working in the business and working on the business, they're two separate things. And the way that we were doing it before we kind of went off the rails, well, I'll start with how we started. So we started by like having a weekly meeting, and I would prepare an agenda and would go out to everyone. And then we would, our goal was to meet in person as a team. But at that time, like I said, most everyone was in Lake Country versus being, in different areas of Milwaukee. And so it was easier for us to do that. And I would develop an agenda, and we would go through both all of our deals, status of deals, marketing, promotion, like all the different things that we had, things that were upcoming, things that we were participating in, training opportunities. We did have a structure to it. We had a hard time finding a day that works for everyone, both pre-COVID and then post-COVID. We're like, okay, I think we've tried every day, Fridays, Mondays, Tuesdays. It's like Tuesdays, but then Tuesdays we've got the sales meeting, and then we've got our Lake Country meetup, and then there's training that usually happens right after that. And that's really too much time to ask the agents to be in meetings. I mean, that's like potentially 3 hours of meetings, and it just doesn't work. So now we're thinking about going to, our team meetings would actually only be like once or twice a month. And we're trying to do it like Diana in Lake, and I'll use it Lake Country as an example. Lake Country, we're trying to encourage agents to come back into the office. So they've targeted like Tuesdays and Thursdays for agents to come back in the office. And, we believe that also being in the office is beneficial for our team, but as well as for other agents, and kind of living and breathing that culture of, sharing. So we think we're going to target now Thursdays, that we're going to have our team meeting on Thursday in the morning. But then we're doing separate. So that's working, on the business. So that's where we'll be planning. We'll be talking big picture things. We'll doing content calendars, those kinds of things that affect the entire team. But then we're having separate one-on-one calls that are meetings between me and just the individual agent, that are accountability calls for the agent to, meet their 411 or whatever their touch bases are. I always say, like, I don't want to drag people kicking and screaming into success. I'm there to coach them. They set their goals. I'm here to support them. So it's really an accountability, like what's working, what's not working, how can I support you differently? How can we change what we're doing, that kind of thing. And then we're having a completely separate meeting that's like a huddle, that's like 15 minutes to 30 minutes once a week with our contract to close people, at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's not really as much of a meeting as it's like a status update. Like, this is what's going on with your deal. This is where we still need information from you. I mean, obviously they can have those conversations at any point in time, but this is like a built-in status report so that if there's anything that is lingering that we have been able to get answers for, then we can press on the agents for that or understand where things are going with like inspections and that kind of thing. So we now have like, or breaking it all apart into like these 3 separate things that we do. And we're hoping that this works. Does anyone do anything similar?
We have meetings every Monday with our whole team, and it is supposed to be a mandatory non-negotiable. However, sometimes things come up and people will miss every once in a while. I will say, starting next week, I believe we're not going to be offering Zoom as an option. We have found that agents who call in over Zoom are just simply not paying attention. And it's very hard to hear when there's 10 of us in a room and 2 people on Zoom. The people on Zoom can't hear what we're talking about or can't see what we're presenting if we are doing vision boards, for example, which we did this last week. And Maureen really likes the camaraderie of people being in person in the office. So I think we're going to move away from Zoom unless there's a special circumstance. But that is our plan moving forward.
And are you still doing the separate meetings, like working in the business and on the business, like with individual agents, or?
We probably should. We really keep it to just the Monday 10 a.m. And then the Tuesday 9 a.m. with everybody. We probably should have a monthly checkup about the deals, about how you're talking about every week you have the contract to close person. I would say our agents are calling Jamie all the time when things come up. So I struggle with putting a system into place that all of our agents will be on board to follow. There's always some people who are just not willing to get on board. So for the most part, we really just keep it to that Monday 10 a.m. and try to fit it all into that 1 hour.
Okay. Is anyone doing anything else different, better, something we can learn from?
It's Danny here. So, I mean, we have a smaller team, so it's a little bit easy, but we pretty much do every Monday morning again. We go through pretty much with Google Docs. It doesn't really matter if we're in person. We try to be in person. Sometimes someone is on Zoom, but we all will follow in Google Docs together, and we go through every single transaction. We'll go through all the buyers, where they're at, go through all the sellers, where they're at, every week touching base on, the stages they're at, and then what needs to focus on for next week. The problem with, obviously once in a while there's a closing that day or an inspection that time. So that's why it's tough to be consistent every week, but that's what we try to do.
So you're mainly going through the active, either the active listings or contract to close then as a part of your agenda?
Yeah, as a team, we go through, okay, where's the work being done for this address before we can list it? Is this one in delayed? It's who's showing clients, this week. So going through the list of all of our clients.
Okay. One of the things, that I found too, just with running meetings, is that I would do a whole lot of prep work. And then, for the individual agents whose deals they were, obviously they're engaged, they care. And not that the other agents don't care, but it's really not as important to them. And I just found like that I was running the meeting, if you will. And I'm just a big participation person. And I found that like not having the agents have an accountability to bringing something to the table, if you will, in that meeting, it just made the meetings really flat. It didn't make them what I thought that I felt like they should be based on like my corporate background, like when I would go to a meeting, it was like you had an agenda and there were different people that were like subject matter experts, everyone was participating, everyone had a level of accountability to either come to the meeting with information to share or share in the meeting. And so I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. We have things called each of our agents, it's like, I'll say to them from an accountability standpoint or a goals setting standpoint, like, I want you to be a subject matter expert about something. I don't care what it is. It could be contracts, it could be, what's happening in the WRA, it could be in a community, it could be social media. I mean, I don't really care what it is, but like one person, like pick something that you want to be the subject matter expert for our team. And then when we have these meetings, you come with information to share. So it could be, something that you learned along the way, something that you've seen, something that you've read, but just making people feel like that they're a part of the meeting and participating in the meeting, like they have a job. When they come to the meeting, their job is not just to listen and or tell you if you're on track or off track, but they actually have a role to play in the health and well-being of the team and the meeting. I don't know if anyone else has tried anything like that or had success with anything like that.
We haven't done that yet, but I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. And like even associations. So if it's like the WRA or like a business association, like Heartland Chamber of Commerce or whatever it is, like we might join as a team, like we'll pay for that fee, but then we'll say, okay, whatever, Katie, you're in charge of Pewaukee's, like whatever, people working cooperatively in Pewaukee. So you have a responsibility to that. You go out and participate in those things. You bring that information back to the team and share it with us. So is there a volunteer opportunity? Is there a special event? Even though Pewaukee is her area, is there a special event that we could come alongside her and participate as a team so that when we're doing things, it's like, it's not just Katie showing up, it's like all of us. And we all kind of do that for each other in the different areas in which we serve.
One thing we do is we do quarterly goals that are very similar, where we touch base probably about every other week about where we're at. So a great example is one of our agents is really looking into new builds and kind of everything that goes with the new build. My quarterly goal this quarter is I'm working on preferred contractors. So I'm looking at the KW resource page, I'm looking at the Facebook page and getting together a list of preferred contractors. And then pretty much every other week, we kind of all touch base on where we're at the quarterly goal.
So you have that built into your business planning, right? So your business planning says that you're going to do these things and then you decide what that is and then you're touching base on them.
Yep, at our Monday meetings.
Perfect.
Yep. Another thing I do that every team should be doing is I hold everybody accountable for days off, because burnout is big. So we do a little thing in the beginning. We go around finding out who took a day off. We have a little reward system that when they get to 10 days off, they get a little prize, because if not, it's very easy to work 24/7 and burn out. So that's one thing that is very important at our team meeting, is accountability, that agents are taking at least a day off.
Kathy, I like your idea of assigning subjects to people, or at least giving them the opportunity to pick their own subject. I have found that if we have, like, we don't talk about all of our deals necessarily during our Monday meeting, because if we're talking about, hey, how did the inspection go on Martha's buyer, Maggie doesn't care. So we don't go through the details of every single deal once there's already an accepted offer. Maureen will give Jamie the opportunity to say, hey, do you have questions for anybody of any of the accepted offer deals that we have running? Usually the answer is that she'll connect with them separately. So other than that, we really only harp on current and upcoming listings or buyer needs for probably 5 or 10 minutes. We'll let each agent go over the high level details of what they have coming up or calling out things that they have in their pipeline. But I find that agents will get bored if another agent is just going on and on about their specific deal for too long, then everybody else kind of checks out. So we usually do new listings, delayed listings, and upcoming things at the beginning, run through any sort of current deal, high level topics. And then we usually have the bulk of our meeting around a specific topic. Like 2 weeks ago, Joan was talking about the condo doc 5-day rule. So we kind of talked about that for a nice 30 minutes, going back and forth. So I think we found success in not talking about specific deals in detail during our team meetings, and rather more high level subjects that will benefit everybody as a team.
That's great. Yeah.
We have an agenda for our weekly team meetings, and it's collaborative Google Doc where each department head updates their different section. And we used to meet every Wednesday morning, and now we just distribute it every Wednesday morning. We turn it into a PDF after everybody has it updated and send it off so that every team member can see the upcoming listings and the progress they're making and what's coming into the pipeline. And marketing updates their section of what's happening on the marketing side. Business development updates her section. And then she also has every other week meetings with the sales team to keep them on track with their goals and see if they need anything from the team. And then contract to close talks about anything that they need from the team. And we have a miscellaneous section and celebrate different accomplishments and who made the home run club and just different things like that. So, and we send it out every Wednesday morning.
That's awesome.
We meet every Monday. At the moment, we do still have the Zoom option available as well, but it's a well-attended meeting. Everybody comes in for that one, and we have an set agenda. So we do the same as Anna was talking about. We'll go through new listings, delayed listings, things that are coming up. We always give a shout out to somebody that's done something brilliant during the previous week, either something in the community or something personal or something that's happened with a deal. And we talk about something that's current. We'll also talk about the numbers for the previous week compared to for the month compared to the previous years. So looking, are we on track for the goals and things? So that's a standard agenda that we have going on. But then each agent, in terms of looking at transactions, each agent will meet with their agent partner once a week just to go through how each transaction is going, deadlines, things coming up, problems, any troubleshooting, as well as then looking at if they want to do any marketing projects, any letters to go out, anything like that. So that's every week that they'll do that. And then they check in regularly with Janine for their goals as well, one-on-one. So we've got all kinds of checks and balances in place there.
Right. Okay. You know what, I'm looking at my clock here. We've got about 5 minutes left within the hour. So I'm thinking I'm just going to run through these here real quick to see if there was anything that we didn't touch on, like in the fuller. So we had the lead distribution. So I am curious from like a lead distribution standpoint. I think all of, again, different teams of different sizes. How do you handle leads? From our perspective, it's, you're listing your lead. We follow that rule, that Keller Williams model. And then we do, obviously, we do a routing, like a lead rotation for leads that come in other ways. So whether if it's from a general sign, an advertisement or website or other avenues, whether that is HomeLight, Opsity, or Zillow, we do have a small little Zillow amount that we pay for. That's like the minimum that we could do. And we do still get some Zillow leads, and that's on like a blast. So it rings to all the agents, and whatever agent picks it up is the one who gets it. And then we, so we have rotation, we have it based on availability. And then, depending on if they're available, what the response, if they can respond quickly or not. And then we have some leads that come in that are delivered at the discretion of the rainmaker. So depending on the type of lead that it is, if there's someone on the team that it really is glaringly suited for, she would, we would deliver that to that agent as long as they were available. So I don't know. I mean, our thing with the lead rotation, I just have a Google Doc that I keep, and as leads come in, I document them, put the person who got it in the rotation. I send them an email or whatever and say, here's the lead, please confirm you can respond. It's a little laborious, to be documenting it all. So I don't know how many of you use like a Google phone number, or is there a person on your team that is responsible for routing? How do you manage, monitor, and keep accountability?
I will say we struggle with that too, so I don't have any suggestions.
We also struggle with this, and as like I'm going through what Charlie's been calling like the fall cleanup and going through databases, the lead distribution isn't so bad, but it's getting the leads back to the correct person, because like sometimes Emily and Kevin, who are our rainmakers, will, you know, pass along a client and kind of give a handoff to one of our agents, but then somehow that person is only in that agent's database and it doesn't get given back to Emily and Kevin. So then it never becomes back on their sphere list. And as I'm going through and looking at their databases a little bit closer, I'm realizing that's happening a lot. And I don't know the system or the follow-up or how to track that. That's something that I've really been struggling with the past couple of weeks.
Well, I will say we just met with Lindsay. We did some business planning it was only last week. It feels like a year ago, last week. And one of the things that kind of a system that we're trying to put in place is like from a contact perspective, you can add them in to, so I don't know if you're using Command or a different.
We are.
Okay. Yep. So within Command, when that contact gets added in, it's added in at the team level, not on the personal. So if it's given to Joe, you know, it doesn't go into Joe's personal contact list. It goes into Joe, but it's on the team. So it's assigned to Joe, but it's a team lead. So I don't know. Again, it's always easier to say than do, you know.
Yeah. Command is a whole separate thing that I'm, you know, working through stuff because we just switched to it. So it's kind of been a work in progress with the transfer. But no, that's a good point and something that I've kind of been taking notes on as well.
Yeah. Well, and so part of what we talked about, so the converse of that is like, if a lead comes in to the team, whether it's, you know, again, the rainmaker decides to share that with another agent, or it comes in like as a web lead or some form of marketing, you know, we definitely want to be tracking that. So we want to keep it at the team level, but then for the individual agents, their sphere or their farm, you know, so either one of those that they're working, you know, I don't want to have to set up everything for all of them. Like I want them to have some ownership of that. So we've been working with Lindsay on like, what are some nurture campaigns that I can create at the team level that now the individual agents can access in their personal command. So their contacts, unless they become a client, which means they have a deal, they either have a listing or an accepted offer, then they become a client, they stay there under contacts, and we develop campaigns that the agent can just access and set them up on. And then so then let's just say they roll into becoming a client, but it's again from their sphere. Like once they have a deal and it gets, we go to close on something, then does the admin release that deal, that contact back to the individual agent so that they can go back into their nurture campaign, because really it's from their sphere, you know, so there's all these different ways that we can parse things.
I'm wondering, you guys, it is right at 11 o'clock. This sounds like a very interesting topic. The whole lead sources, lead distribution, sphere management sounds like a topic in and of itself that maybe we have for the next admin mastermind, and we can truly do a mastermind on this, like you've done, Kathy, where, you know, cameras on, conversation, bring your perspective and leave with takeaways. And maybe we can have Lindsay do a little high level tagging, sphere, command. These are some quick tips that can help. But also I know Lindsay did sit with Team Trimble and so did Steph. I think that was super valuable. So if you guys need that conversation, let's get Lindsay and Steph into your team. But what do you think about having this as the next topic?
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, we had all these different content, and we could almost break all of these separate content areas into its own mastermind.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, this is when we talk about leads and sphere, your database is your data bank, right? I mean, this is working, it is important, holding people accountable to it is important. And I mean, this is your business, right? This is it right here.
Right. Well, and that accountability thing, I think is like when you get to that team level, I mean, you obviously, all of our teams have levels of support, right? So it's not
Right.
that the team doesn't want to support the individual agent's business and their growth, because obviously that benefits them and it benefits the team. It's
Right.
just a matter of how much of that does the agent responsible for versus
Yeah.
what the team is responsible for. And I mean, I am a firm believer in what you invest in, you become more accountable to. So
Yes.
it's like everything, it's like raising kids. I got 25, 21, and 20. And if I did everything for them their whole lives, it's just like, yeah, just keep bringing it to me. I mean,
Well,
just because
right.
the team doesn't mean that they don't have some level of contribution and accountability.
Yeah.
Skin in the game, if you will.
Skin in the game.
Beyond
Yeah.
just a goal, of you got to sell X amount of units and deals this year,
Well, and I have to say, from the team leader standpoint, everybody who talks to me about joining a team wants to do it for the accountability. So, I mean, how do we realize that in a team setting so that you guys have the tools you need to do your job and that they're contributing in ways that benefit the team and benefit themselves?
Yeah.
I think is a great topic. So,
okay. Well, good.
So what do you think? Are we good? Are we what?
Yeah, we could probably go for another hour. So I'm okay with I think this was a great start to having the conversations, and maybe we can the next one we could do the lead generation.
Yeah.
Then we could topically, and then again, I know I'm not in charge of these. So if Kathleen doesn't, I know she's always looking for topics.
I
So
think
if
Kathleen would like
just-
to make sure that you have things that are valuable to you. So if this is valuable to this group, then we will tell Kathleen that this is what we'd like to see.
So we
yeah.
could just break up all of, we could go back into some of this and just break these each up into an individual workshop / mastermind.
Yeah. Are you guys, do you thumbs up if we like this idea? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for putting everything together, Kathy. Even just the worksheet was super helpful to work through. I have a whole email written out that I'm going to send to Emily and Kevin after this with everything that I got from it. So
it's so funny because this was a brain dump. Kathleen's will you do a master? I'm like, okay, well, this is what I was thinking. And I sent her this email, and next thing you know, it turned into okay, this is the topic. And I'm like, she's amazing. I mean, Kathleen is doing such a phenomenal job for our market centers, and to have that kind of support to make some an idea come to life. And then that turns into, a worksheet, she even helped me, she took my words and made it pretty. And then I dropped this into a so I couldn't have done it without her because we're all busy. So I definitely appreciate Diana and Lindsay and Kathleen that are there to support all of our growth. So
well, we are your leverage, so use us. That's what we're here for. So
okay, well, perfect. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
all.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Kathy, and all of you. We'll see you.